Ko hikurangi te maunga, ko Waipu te awa, ko Ngāti Parau te iwi, ko Rawinia Parata ahau. I am currently a Māori ward councillor for the Gisborne District Council. I am standing again for re-election. I am also lead advisor for the Regional Public Service Commission. I am a mama of 3 and I am recently relocated to Kaiti from Ruatoria. I am seeking re-election because I believe that tairawhiti really deserves consistency. Council is a really hard mahi, and so over the last 3 years I've learned a lot from the job and how to do it and how to do it well. We've had some significantly traumatic events over the last 3 years, which include cyclones Gabrielle and Hale, includes the transition from forestry. We've had so many issues, and I just feel like I've got more to give, and I'm better at the job now than I was when I came in. I don't know if I have a top 3 priorities. I really care about equitable investment, opportunity, funding, and engagement for all of our communities, not just the city centre, but our communities outside of the city centre, rurally, both north and south. I really care about whānau and how the decisions that we make at council affect whānau at a household level, and sometimes I'm not sure that council are considering how our decisions affect the day-to-day person, because we spend so much time thinking about the region as a whole. So that's a really important part to me. And then the other part, I think, which feeds into your following question about what do I want to change, is I think that playgrounds, recreation, footpaths, they all need to be part of core council business as opposed to lumped into township upgrades. I feel like we don't give enough space to our rangatahi and our tamariki and our whānau to have spaces for happiness and recreation, and it doesn't have its own budget line at council currently, and I would change that immediately. I am an active part of Ngāti Parau, from Pōtaka to Te Toka-a-Taio through to Kaiti. I am present in the takiwātanga space, so my son is 5 years old and autistic, so I'm an advocate and a supporter of whānau with disabilities. I am an aspiring participant in the arts, particularly around writing and creative arts. I am always active and available to our iwi hapu partners. And just quite outside of that, Tairawhiti is such a small region. I think we have the benefit of being a small region, and because of that you can be so connected to anybody in any space, so long as people reach out to you or you reach into them. When you sit at council table, you don't just represent yourself, you're not the individual, you're part of a wider collective of people. As decisions, particularly important decisions, you know, they might be flood mitigation issues, they might be land issues, they might be about emergency management. That is when you need to reach out to those kinds of communities and see what their thoughts are and what their feelings are. Often you need to be present. 9 times out of 10 though, whānau, when they've really got something to say, will reach out directly. I always consider how might these decisions affect that community and these people, and what are the unintended consequences of the decisions we make. I have never gone to council and thought about myself, because I know that when I sit at that table, I represent the entire region. And also on top of that, I don't just represent Māori, I'm a councillor for the entire region. And so I go into that space holding those values and representing with that voice. I've got so many dreams and aspirations for what our region could look like. Most of it though, it's about equity and about highlighting the various communities and the beauty and benefits of being in those communities. I would really love for equitable opportunity no matter where you decide to live and raise your family. I would love to see diversity in our employment space and industry space. I'd love to see tairawhiti leading the way in innovation. I would love to see more investment in spaces like playgrounds, sports facilities. I think we've got some of the most talented people that live right here in Tairāwhiti, and I'd love to see them be lifted into world platforms. I would love to see the revitalisation of the CBD and to have a beautiful city centre, but equally I want to see a beautiful Rotoria and a beautiful Uawa, and I want to see footpaths in Muriwai, so that when people come and visit and when we ourselves venture out of the city, that we can experience how wonderful it is and how happy people are. I would love to feel that our roads are safe, and that the fear I feel when it rains, that I'm not scared that people are going to be cut off and isolated. I would love to see the investment in services outside of the city centre, but also the improvement and efficiency of services here. I'd love to see small businesses like pop up and thrive. I would love for there to be way more market days and way more food stalls, and I would love it if they would travel. I would hope very soon that I get to see the flood mitigation work for Te Karaka in particular, but everywhere on the coast where we're fearful of flooding. And just on top of that, I would love in 10 years for council to have an efficient and approved system for whenua that was taken under public works, that is not being used for the purposes of which it was taken, returned to its rightful owners. And I know that at this point we're working through a few of those kinds of issues or cases with whānau and hapu. I would love to see that that is an efficient piece and process for the Gisborne District Council, eventually, yeah. I'm an aspiring writer, a creative writer. I have written short stories that have been published, and I've written plays and have been awarded for some of those things. I love to write, and as a result of that I love all the creative spaces, and I love creative people and the diversity and the dynamic that they add to a space in a region. I am never going to be the kind of person that says vote for me. I will always advocate for whānau, and I will always do what's right, even if it makes me unpopular. I always hold myself with integrity and put myself to work. To be a councillor for this region is to be a servant of the region, and that's how I see it. And over the last 3 years, I've put myself to work, and I'm willing to do it again for the next 3. If what I'm saying aligns with your values and what you care about, then this is who I am, and I put my hand up. But more importantly, I think whānau need to exercise their democratic right to vote. Your voice really counts. It really matters. So I just hope that people feel empowered to vote. And secondly, and probably more importantly than who sits at the table this time, is the Māori Ward referendum. A vote for the Māori Ward referendum is a vote for representation. And that is more important today than the people who are sitting at that table.